Carmarthen.
Where?
Carmarthen.
Okay. And what are we going to do today?
If you don't know, I'm not telling you.
We're going on a one-day holiday.
Whee!
And a little adventure.
Okay.
I don't think we should say anything yet, but it's going to be hopefully quite interesting for the Simca guys. I think they'll find it quite interesting. That's it. Looking forward to it.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yep.
You just want your sandwiches, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, so we're on the M5. It's about 200 miles. So it takes about 4 hours, I guess, 3.5 hours, something like that. I'll have to be a little bit careful here because I've just had one speeding ticket, so I don't want any more. So I'll talk to you later. Bye. And here we are, destination arrived. Can you see that car in there? We're not invited in yet, so we'll hang on.
Next door, the guy is buying because he wants the engine, so that'll be these two gone. Good.
Is that the ocean in there?
That's the ocean.
Have you sold that one?
No, I haven't sold.
All right, okay.
No, I mean that's of all my cars. There's probably the blue one that's back in the farm. That one and my Land Rover are probably the three that will be the last in my.
Right, gotcha.
But I've got too many.
Yeah.
Because now I don't have the secure, well I have secure, but I don't have the dry storage, which is
right, okay. So I haven't done an introduction. This is Dick Husband. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. And I was talking to a fellow who knows you. Stefan from Germany says hello.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah.
Stefan, yes.
25 years ago, apparently, he came over.
Yes, we're still in Coventry at the time.
Yeah.
Yes, because Stefan bought a right-hand drive Australian Simca Aron.
Right, okay.
Which was modified to be like a ute, which is what they had
yes,
there.
yes.
And because they were left-hand drive in Germany, he couldn't find any spares, so he came across and
okay.
Yeah.
So what do you have here? You have the ocean that you're keeping.
Yes.
And what else? Anything?
Well, the rest of the stuff I've got here is purely spares.
Right, okay.
Just to buy dry, secure storage for the
Gotcha,
spares.
okay.
I mean, I've got a couple of customers' cars here, but the rest of them are mine, really. So
yeah, okay.
it would be easier if we find this place than the farm. Really.
Right,
So I thought,
I understand.
Start here,
Yeah,
and then,
have a look round. Have a cup of coffee first. Okay.
never go round to putting the sign up, but yes, this is Angel Motors. Used to be CB Motors and Lift, and yes, we can do large vans like this. We
Yeah.
get them in. We do motorhomes.
And what's your main business? What do you do?
Spares, I suppose. Classic spares or obsolete spares, 50s, 60s and 70s.
Right.
New old stock, locate spares, but then I would work on cars like that.
Yeah.
And then I've got the ramp so that I can do repairs on services on modern vehicles.
Right.
And I do MOTs for 2 local garages as well. But
Okay.
not here. I
Yeah,
go to their location. So you could say I've got my fingers in a little pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have a look around this then?
Yeah.
Tell me what's original and what isn't. Is that down there? That Simca badge. Is that original?
Quite a lot of things on this aren't original. I mean, it's on an end plate, but it's 1959.
Yeah.
But when, back in the day, when you brought a car in from overseas, it was given a registration of when it was first registered in this country. This would have cost you mega money in the UK if you bought it new. and this was bought by a serviceman and brought back in after 2 years. And then
So
you didn't
less
pay
tax or something?
No tax,
Right,
obviously,
gotcha.
because it was 30 to 35%
Yeah.
back in the 50s. And these were very expensive cars anyway, because the bodies were done by Vega. They were designed for the States. It was
Yeah.
the sort of, the muscle car would be for the blokes,
Yeah.
and then this would be the little sort of car with a convertible for the ladies to drive around.
Right.
But to me, you know, you've got your TR6s and things like this, which are your Schwarzeneggers, and this is more your Sacha Distel. It's got such lines.
Oh, yeah,
when I mean, the roof is the worst thing about it. You drop the roof, and then it becomes such a wonderful, pretty little car.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And whenever I take it anywhere, it's always got the roof down. Simply because it needs redoing, and I can't afford the time or the money, because there's so much else that really, I suppose, you could say could be done.
Oh, it's well used, isn't it?
We end up with a totally different motor car altogether.
Oh, and you've got a floor change gearbox.
Oh yes, sorry. Yes, there was never a floor change option from Simca, but because in the day these Simcas were quite performance vehicles for their size and everything, a London company produced a floor change option.
Right.
And the good thing about it is, if you rally one of these, or like the one we'd rallied back at the farm, if you go into slushy snow with it, the gear change gets all frozen up.
Right.
So with the floor change, you've got a better shift, and it's a bit more positive as well. So, yeah. I saw this car first in Carmarthen in the original Angel Motors, which was in Carmarthen, and they'd been Simca dealers since Simca first came in, because they used to be Fiat dealers.
Right.
So they became Simca dealers, and they'd got 3 brothers who were involved with the garage, and one of the older brothers had this, and I saw it back in '85, and he wanted £3,500 for it, which at the time was a lot of money.
Yeah, sure.
And seeing as I bought certain other cars from the rest of the garage, I wanted it, but didn't want it, if you know what I mean. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Back in the year 2000, somebody from Leicester phoned me up, and currently I was in Coventry, said they'd got an N-Reg Simca, and I thought, well, it's one of the newer, so I was really not that interested. But I thought, because it's in Leicester, I'll go and have a look.
It's this one.
And he said, I've got to sell it, I'm getting married, and the wife said it's got to go. Opened the garage door, and I saw this, and I thought, I can't believe this.
And how much was it then? £1,000?
It didn't go, the engine was seized. He said it didn't do this, it didn't do that, all sorts of things, and I think, that's not a Simca. And I got it for £350.
Oh, fantastic.
Anyway, I got the radiator recalled, and I stripped all the brakes down, did all of those, got it running, took it for an MOT, and then started using it.
Yeah.
And I've been using it ever since. I took it to there's a place in France on this side by the Spanish border, and I took it there for a long weekend.
All right.
Never missed a beat.
Yeah.
40 plus to the gallon, and brilliant. And so
there's certain bits on here that I don't, because ours are different models really, they're different years apart. Mine's an early one, yours is a later one.
Yes.
But there's things I don't recognise.
Right.
These bumpers?
These bumpers are not standard. These bumpers are off a later car, because the bumpers for the Ocean and Plain CL are sort of...
Are those the ones that kicked up around the corner?
Yeah, rocking horse, really, and if you can find them, to get them chromed and everything.
Yeah.
So this is a later vehicle.
Off a Simca though?
Off a Simca, yes. This badge is off an Aron, but it was one that used to fit on the side flash.
Yeah.
These, well, that was never actually put on the
That said Aron there, didn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
But because,
I've learned that recently.
but because I'd got the various letters,
Yeah.
Anybody in France looks at that and they say, oh, I say, oh yes, export model.
And these tail lights are standard around, aren't they?
These tail lights are standard run from 59 on.
So are those correct for this vehicle?
Yes, because
Because mine are very. You've seen what mine look like, haven't you?
Yours
Yeah.
would have been the earlier ones,
Yeah.
which is like Julie's, which are quite a bit different. A
Yes.
bit more like sort of, well, yeah, they're quite a bit different.
Yeah.
The only thing that's different on these from its originality is the fact that originally it would have been red.
Right.
But I converted it because in this country having red indicators.
And you should have a handle there?
That's how it's always been, to my knowledge.
Right, okay.
But it may well have had one originally. So it's never had a rear seat, although I think it was an option for them, but I've always just treated it.
I see Julie's asked on the forum whether there were ever seats in the back, and somebody says no, it's just for luggage.
Well, that's pretty much all I've ever used it
Yeah.
for. You know, when I go, the tent goes in the back, and I did get a cover to go across here that finished.
Oh, like a tonneau type thing, yeah. So, Dick, have you ever had this screen out?
No, and I've got no intention of trying.
Are they a nightmare?
Anything that's got these stainless steel.
Well, this comes off easy enough.
Yeah.
Got-
I have got a checkered history with windscreens, so I basically try and avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, I've broken one in my life, and and it would be scary to break one of these, wouldn't it?
I believe they have been remanufactured in France, and I think Julie got one from France.
Really?
Yes. And I don't think they were horrendously priced. You know,
Okay.
something like £800, which I think for a
Oh no,
screen like
that's
that is,
fine.
You know, it's-
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
Now I don't know which way your wipers go, but my wipers go sort of like.
Well, I haven't got any wipers, so you're ahead of me there. And of course, I've got the Japanese engine in mine.
Yes.
And the problem I've got is, I mean, I'm not too bothered about not keeping it, but my sump is touching on the cross member.
Ah, yes.
So really, I want to lift the engine, but the tail of the gearbox is touching on the arch of the arch. Well, it's the tail, the arch of the cross member. So I can't move it anywhere really, without some
these
work.
were quite a flat engine because the sump was broad, which added for oil cooling as well.
Right. Okay.
So in their day, I mean, they were very advanced. You know, you got sort of aluminium heads, 5-bearing crank on the later ones, 3-engage starter motors, 12-volt systems.
And is it quick enough? Does it go?
These, believe it or not, are slower than the saloons
Yeah.
because they were heavier.
Oh, it's stiffening up.
Because I don't know whether you've got it on yours, but this has got a cruciform underneath
I've
it.
seen pictures of that. Yeah. Mine hasn't got that.
Well, I'll send it up in a moment. You can see just how
Right,
much
okay.
weight they put in it.
Yeah.
So even though this engine pushed out a little bit more power, because of the extra weight, it was slower than the saloons.
Right.
But I mean, I don't have any problem in traffic with them because traffic now doesn't seem to go that quick.
Yeah.
And the brakes on these things are phenomenal.
Okay.
I mean, the 10-inch drums
Yeah.
are sort of almost 2 inches wide. And I went to Aix-les-Bains in the south of France with my other one some years back. And on the way back, we decided, because we were going to stop another night halfway in France, we'd go up over the hills.
Mm.
And a friend of mine had followed with a couple of friends, and they'd come in sort of a modern Vauxhall, whatever it was, 3, 4, 5 years old. Going up the twisty turns, we got up after about maybe 1,000 feet, nice viewpoint. I pulled in, he pulls in, he said, "My car's overheating." I said, "Mine ain't." And there were twisty turns, no problem. Down the other side, I went bugger for coasting. And I was coasting.
Yeah.
No problems. Got to the bottom, he said, and he was white. He said, "Did your brakes fail?" I said, "No."
Got no brakes. You boiled them.
My brakes did. And I'm thinking, he said, "But," I said, "this is what the car was designed for. It wasn't designed to go 90 miles an hour you know,
Yeah.
down the motorway.
Yeah.
It's designed for these roads.
Yeah.
And I go on sort of little tours locally here, and people have got all these modern cars and Porsches and things, and they say, goes up those hills pretty well, doesn't it? See, yeah, it does. It's
Yeah.
designed for the French
Yeah,
route,
yeah.
you know, and it takes the rough one. And because my first car was a Simca back in '68, because I couldn't afford a Cooper or an Anglia or anything like that. And it's sort of like become a love-hate relationship ever since.
You do get hooked at an early age, don't you, and tend to stick with the same theme. I've done it myself. I've had MGBs all my life, and that's what I grew up on.
I mean, I've had so many different cars, and it's or vehicles really, and for some reason the Simca seems to be one that sort of stayed with me really.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
And then when Angel Motors closed in Carmarthen, I bought nearly all his stock and everything, because I was in Coventry at the time. And then when I sold up and came back, they'd long since closed, and I thought, well, you know, seeing as I've got a lot of stuff from there, and I'm still into Simcas, I'll resurrect the name.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, there's a place in Carmarthen now. It's just HSBC Bank.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've got some more questions for you, if you can.
Shall I get a light?
Well, yeah, but the headlights. This. What are you using that's original here? Anything, or all of it, or none of it, or? All right. It's really interesting to see another car, because I've taken all this off on mine, all this chrome.
Right.
But my screen has obviously been out recently because the rubber's fresh, it's newish.
Right.
But my chrome doesn't fit under a lip like that, so I've got the wrong rubber in mine. That's established that.
Yeah.
And your bumpers are wrong again on the front,
The
is that?
bumpers again on the wrong, and the indicators are Morris standard.
Oh yeah.
This grille is wrong in the fact that this grille is made up of two later 1501 grills which have been spliced together.
Okay.
So now the headlamps.
You see, mine are just these are just bolted direct. There's no adjustment. It's wrong.
Oh no.
You know, it's wrong.
It should have a bowl, and then the bowl has got. There's two options.
I've got the bowl,
yeah,
and I've got the remains of this fitting here,
right.
But I've got none of this adjusting stuff.
Right. Well, what you should have is there's two options on these. There's one option where it.
Yeah, you see, I'm missing.
Yeah. You see,
Course,
it
probably
hinges
that.
at the bottom there.
Oh, I
don't know whether you can
see.
see it. That's one type.
I
where it hinges
gotcha,
at the
yeah,
bottom,
yeah.
And then you've got the three adjustment points.
And that spring's a hinge. Sorry, the hinge is a spring, is it?
That's right. That's sprung loaded.
Yeah.
And that locks in place. That's one type. There's another type which is very, very similar, but it's got the three things. It doesn't have this at the top. Doesn't have that at the bottom, and you've got three nylon cups, and they pop in.
Right.
And then you've got the three adjustments.
Okay.
So,
is this a Rond or is it Simca?
Simca.
Okay.
It's all
Right,
well,
okay.
they're Marshall.
Sorry, I mean, is it a Rond or is it Fassel? That's what I meant. Sorry.
No, that would be Simca.
Okay.
It's Aaron. It's Marshall. SEV Marshall did them.
Yeah.
The lights were done, and Sibier did them as well. So there were different types of facilities on the lights.
Am I going to find anything like that with you? This setup, the headlamps and the whatever? And, okay, great.
I got lights like that.
Okay.
Similar ones, depending on which one you want. I mean, I do have halogen conversions, which make them better to drive in the night.
I'm never going to do that, to be honest.
But this one's got yellow bulbs, and I mean, they look so good with yellow bulbs, but a hell to drive it.
I've got some really nice headlamps, whether they're original or not, but they're very nice looking. They're like a faceted back to them. They're very attractive.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep them. They'll probably shine the wrong way, but I'm going to keep them.
The thing is that with these, this is another interesting point about the bulbs, is it's possible to turn the bulbs for left or right hand option.
Oh, isn't it the lens that does that? It's the bulb, is it?
It's the bulbs on these, yes.
Right, okay.
You will see that some Simcas, if they were built in Spain, or the headlamps were built in Spain, the headlamps are turned through 15 degrees,
Right.
just to sort of compensate for the.
Right.
But on these, on the older ones, and on a lot of, not just Simca's, Peugeot and everything, these headlamps were designed for left or right hand traffic
Right,
by simply
okay.
turning the bulb.
I've never heard that before.
Yes, oh yes, and BMW took it up a few years ago in their vehicles, but I don't know whether they kept it on or not. But now, Peter, oops, oh sorry.
That slides,
Probably
okay.
fast.
No, I haven't got
You
this.
haven't got, is your internal heater on yours?
I've got a piece of plastic, which like a big plastic lump with a
All
couple
right.
of vents coming off. Whether it was just lying on the floor, I don't know whether it belongs with the
right,
car or not.
right. Because the early ones had a heater inside which just sort of circulated the heat
I've
inside.
got that pipe coming out.
If you've got that pipe, you should have one of them.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And this, these are the sort of differences on the engines. I mean, you look at that engine there. I mean, that is quite a gas-flowed manifold for standard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there were lots of things like that, which the Simca made them, you know, quite a performance bit of kit, really.
So is this engine bay standard Simca?
Yes, oh yes, this is all standard
Yeah.
Simca, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, down to the glass bottles for the washer and for the brake fluid.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
the fuses over there. So yeah, this is basically standard Simca.
Okay.
And pretty much all of the mechanics were Simca.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And that's a body number there, is it?
that's the chassis number. That is, yeah.
Down there, that one.
Well, it's there and there.
Oh, right,
It'll be in
okay.
the same place. Yeah.
I'll have a look on mine, see if I've got one.
Yeah. Yeah, you should.
Because I've got one of those. Is that a chassis number or?
No, I think that'll be
something else?
just a shell plate, I think.
Right. Okay.
And I painted this, and it shouldn't be that colour. It should be grey, because all the body parts under the bonnet and everything should be that sort of grey, apparently. But
And what was this? Did this never had the black stuff all over it then?
no.
So a grey gloss type
That's
finish.
right. Well, this sort of finish, that sort of grey that you've got
Yeah,
down there.
that probably was shiny at one point,
Well, yes,
was it?
it'll
Yeah.
polish up. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. So you need to give it a bit of love, don't you?
My problem is, I will never have a concourse car
No,
because I
know.
use them.
Yeah. I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah.
Totally with you.
And when you see the other two cars that I've got that are roadworthy, you will see why I need to sell the black one, because it needs to go to somebody who's going to actually restore it and keep it in good condition.
That's one that you use, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the blue one is the one that I use all the time, pretty much. And then the rest of them are projects which I bought, which.
And you've got one in mind for me that might fit the bill.
I've got two left-hand drive ones, and the one that's probably the best for you is the one which I just need to put the carburetor and distributor back on, and she'll fire up and drive and everything.
Okay.
You know, so
Okay.
she's. It was one that I owned back in the early '80s, and I sold it to somebody up in Newcastle. And then they decided that after running it for about 20 years, they couldn't really justify it because they knew nothing about cars. and so that
Yeah,
was the
it gets
problem.
expensive if you have
It
to pay
gets-
people.
Well, they got two, you see. And
Yeah.
one of them they'd had from new, so this other one they decided in the end. But I'd actually rebuilt the engine for them for it, and then they decided they couldn't. So in the end, I had the car off them to pay for some of the bill. So, but anyway.
You've got some stuff here, haven't you, Dick? Man alive.
Back in the day, if you saw how much stuff I scrapped when I came down here, over there, that is all new old stock spares going back to the 30s.
Different brands or?
There's a lot of stuff there which is for different vehicles, but there's a tremendous amount of Simca, Talbot, Chrysler, Peugeot, and a lot of it is for these sort of cars, you
Yeah.
know, the Irons and things. And then this lot is pretty much behind that is all secondary stuff, second-hand used stuff. This side again is new, most of this new old stock.
So is there anything here that would be of interest to me?
I don't think so really. It was just a case of
Yeah,
that's where this
okay,
one was,
yeah,
because I
yeah.
knew this one would probably be of interest.
Oh yeah, yeah, I love it, love it.
And
And when you want to sell it, I'll buy this one off you.
because this is the sort of thing that I've got, which a lot of people don't realise.
So slight obstacle course here, yeah.
So I got brand new things like this, which are wheel trims for various Simcas.
I mean, I'm going to need hubcaps.
You will, more than likely, yes.
What, have you got anything that's right for me?
I would more than likely have one, yes. Yes.
I mean,
set.
or 4 of them, yeah.
And then, there's things like the headlamps. Different options on them. You even got small spot lamps if you ever wanted them. But
Oh, it goes back forever, doesn't it? Oh, man alive.
yeah.
Nick, you're going to have to move some of this stuff, aren't you? Quick.
Well, you see, that is the problem.
Yeah.
For me to sort of get anywhere sensibly, I've got to seriously.
Yeah.
I've tried selling job lots, but nobody's interested.
No.
I mean, one guy he said, yeah, I'll buy everything you've got. Can you give me a list?
Ha.
I said, you having a laugh or what? and I mean, in there's I've got all the microfiche and everything then for the later cars. Brake parts, all sorts of brake parts, cylinders, repair kits,
Have you got a master cylinder for me?
bearings. Yes, we need to know which one you've got, because there were 2 options.
Will you show me and I'll tell you which one it is. It's a Lockheed,
Yeah,
1 inch.
they'd all be DBA Lockheed. And this one is one that's being reconditioned on now then. Thing is, I'm actually starting to put stuff on computer, believe it or not.
No.
Find stuff.
It's more fun doing it this way.
Similar to that?
It is similar, but this is offset.
Yes, but that's because there were 2 options.
That's
One
like-
option had one with a banjo on the back with a 3
Yeah,
pipe
that's
skin in
it, yeah.
and the other one had 3.
I'm with you,
the
yeah.
casket
3,
was
yeah,
3.
no.
So it's
That's
one
like
of those,
mine, yeah.
I do have them, I'm sure. 'cause
I'm sure you have.
Yes. I'd need to sort of
We're here all week.
on the computer. And then things like, big end bearings, oversized, undersize, undersize really, and then piston ring sets. And
Oh, that's the other one you were talking about, isn't it?
oh yes, that's
Yeah.
the other type.
Yeah, no, not mine.
Yeah.
So can we find one for me while we're here or not? That's mine there, isn't it? But an old one.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly yours.
that's mine,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah. So that's it. Yes.
Have we got one here?
More than likely would be able to find one, but I'd need to go and have a look at my computer, which is at home.
Okay, all right.
Actually here tomorrow. then
Yeah, we
possibly,
can do that.
I can possibly sort that out. And then if you take your life in your hand,
Yeah, no problem.
you see things like the headlamp bowls that you were mentioning.
I've got the bowls.
Right.
I haven't got. You see, that one's got no fittings on it. Mine.
You see,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
So that's one option.
Yeah.
Which would fit certain types of lamps. That's the other option, which I was saying, where they press into
Yeah.
the 3.
Well, presumably mine was like that because it has the remains of this
Yes,
thick at the
yeah.
top,
Yeah, those would be the ones. Almost certainly, yes.
and there should be another bowl inside that, should there?
No,
as it were?
that's it. That's it. The headlamp then would be. I think they were around on the side of the headlamp somewhere. The headlamp itself.
We just looked at headlamp, didn't we?
Yeah. The headlamp itself would have the reflector and everything is all part of the headlamp,
Right.
and then that would fit into there. In fact, this one I think is.
Yeah, it
is
must be the
slightly
headlamp
different.
that's different then to mine.
Yes, I mean.
Because I'm pretty sure mine just. Is mine a sealed beam? I think it might be some. I should have looked at it first, really, shouldn't I?
None of the Simcas had sealed beams.
Yeah, I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them were fitted with Lucas ones as aftermarket.
Yeah.
And if it was built in Scotland, they were fitted with
Built in Scotland.
assembled in Scotland.
Really?
Yes.
Right.
But that was the later Arons. You see, that's another type of fixing where they got put.
But is all this on the other car as well, though, the headlamps? So I can just rub them off that?
I think that one has actually got Lucas lamps on it. The other one, well, none of it's all rotted away because it's mechanically sound, but body-wise, it's
right. Okay.
It's pretty.
Okay.
And then the genuine sort of light fixings, you have different ones depending on a single or a twin fixing for the bulbs. Then these are the sort of main. These will be for the later ones, not for yours, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've got most things except the big circle, big chrome circle with the reflector in. That's the bit I'm missing.
No, I'd have the reflectors. I'd have the separate reflector that goes in the middle.
No, I've got those. Yeah.
But I don't have any lenses that would fit yours at all, I'm afraid.
Okay. Well, it's actually a metal part that I'm missing. It's like a chrome, a chrome ring at the bottom with the reflector in the middle.
Yeah.
No. Looks like the bottom of a beer can.
Oh, you don't. Is it that size?
It takes that. I'm pretty sure it takes that size reflector, but it's quite a hefty.
Oh, right.
Looks like a casting. I've never actually seen one yet.
No, definitely don't have them, because I do have. On some of them they had these, but they were just much smaller, just to hold the reflector. But they were just small bits of aluminium. So that's.
Are these your going out shoes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I moved down here, I moved everything. Wife used to do
Is this an interior lamp?
Yes.
Would that fit mine?
That's off a newer Simca. That
is it?
Newer Simca, yeah. The ones that would fit. I think there's so many options on them. That's the been in trouble with them.
I mean, I can make anything fit, pretty much.
I thought I had one somewhere. That's sort of more modern here.
Yeah. Let's pick this back up. No.
Yeah, the screen it went bang, unfortunately, but there we go. That's the sort of
thing. Right. Okay. Have you got any glass of any sort? Any front screens for anything?
Not for yours, but I do have.
You see, I've got a Perspex rear screen in mind, which I brought with me.
Right. And
I'm trying to identify it as a non-Simca product, if you know what I mean.
Right.
One that I can cut down, or any laminated screen I can change to make it fit.
So I think.
Any other screens here besides those? Because those are too flat. Those are no good.
No. That's.
It says something there. No, they're all way too flat, those.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Yeah. I might have got some stuff back at the farm, actually.
Okay.
Which might be likely to be useful.
Okay.
See the massive.
Oh gosh, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, a hell of a lot of strength in that, but a lot of weight as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have we got an exhaust? Have you got an exhaust for me?
I make them up myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. See, I'm missing all this gubbins here.
Well, that's right. You would have, yeah.
This stuff I haven't got.
Well, no, that would have been all taken out when they put a, what do you call it, I would have imagined.
Yeah, so I've got no handbrake at all system in mind.
Right.
So this bar here is just to take the strain when you pull on that. Is
That's
that?
it. That's
yeah.
all it is really. It's just a stabiliser.
Yeah.
And that's the master cylinder with the three.
Oh yeah, that's the later one. Yeah.
That's the earlier one actually.
That's the what?
That's the earlier one.
Well, what year is this?
59.
Mine's 57.
All right. Well, that was the earlier one. The later one was the one with the banjo on.
Right.
So unless it's been changed for some time. Because the
That's odd, isn't
now
it?
the next question is, what size brake pads have you got? Are they 3/16 or quarter inch?
I haven't looked at them to be honest, but I've noticed that there's one that runs across where are we? Runs across the floor, which is quite a big one.
Yeah. You've probably got quarter-inch brake lines on yours then.
I think there are differing sizes. Would that be right?
No, they should be. They'll either be all the rigid steel brake pipes will either be quarter-inch or 3/16.
Right.
And they are quarter-inch or 3/16. They're not metric.
Yeah.
And they changed them about 56, 57.
Yeah, mine's November 57.
But when was it made?
That's when it was made.
Right. It should be 3/16. In that case, one of these cylinders will fit. If not, I wouldn't have a 1-inch cylinder with the quarter-inch pipes.
But my banjo will make it to my size, won't it? Because I've got a banjo on the end of mine.
Oh yes, yeah, it would, yeah.
So I'm probably better off sticking with the cylinder I've got.
That's right.
And then my brake pipes will fit onto that, won't they?
That's right, yeah.
Although some of my brake pipes will need changing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So coming off this banjo here
Yeah.
that I've got, what size brake pipes would they be?
They should all be quarter-inch or 3/16, depending on which system you've got. All of the
So
steel
quarter
brake
inch is smaller or bigger?
bigger.
Bigger, yeah.
Yeah, the one that you will have, which will be bigger, and it's bigger on all of them, is the one that comes down into the top of the cylinder from the reservoir. That one up there.
Oh,
You
right.
see, that one is bigger than that.
Right.
So you will either have that,
yeah.
and then these the same size as that, or you'll have that, and then like this one. With the
I think
3/16.
mine, from memory, mine do look bigger than that.
Well, they'll be quarter-inch then. So,
Okay.
so
And
yeah.
what size fittings are they going to be then? What do they call that thread?
It's the standard unified thread.
Okay.
It's not the same as the Morris 1000 because the Morris 1000 is a very coarse thread.
All right.
But I think it's I don't know what I actually call it. But it's the standard that was pretty much used on all cars at the time. Funnily enough.
I love these springs just holding these brake cables off the ground. What should we do here? I know, let's put a spring on it.
The hoses also would be different on yours because they'll be quarter-inch in there.
Yeah.
You will almost certainly have just leaf springs.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But you see this one has got the dual
Coils
system.
as well?
Yeah.
How come?
Give it better road holding.
How bizarre.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought mine are beefier than this, my road springs.
they would be much bigger,
Yeah.
but the thing is, you see, that's got a coil spring there,
Yeah.
which then gives you that. And you know, the things they were doing with these cars in the 50s and 60s, they were pretty much the second biggest manufacturer of cars in France.
Yeah.
And the innovations were pretty phenomenal, really.
Yeah.
You know.
I will see what you mean about the oil pan.
Yes. Yeah. So it is very squat, but it's
Yeah.
also
Wide.
gives you a lot of cooling as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know whether we mind your head, I'll move the jack back out of the way. you get a look at the front suspension and everything.
Mine's all been taken off and cleaned up, and new bolts and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody spent a lot of time, but not doing it very well.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to think they can make a lot of money out of Simcas, but they get their fingers burnt because, you know, they just... In Europe, this is probably worth 10 grand. In this country...
Well, there's nobody looking for one, is there?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, they're so rare.
Yeah. Nobody knows they exist.
Nobody knows they exist. And the number of people that have seen them at a show and they come over and say, Sunbeam Alpine. I said, no. Get a Sunbeam Alpine, I'm putting it next to it. What do you mean? I say, well, the Sunbeam Alpines are much smaller, much sharper, goes a lot quicker. But it's probably, this is what the Alpine was modelled on.
Yeah.
Because this would have been modelled on a Thunderbird.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, but, yes, they're...
And tyres, have you got tubes in there?
I do have in some of them and some of them I don't.
What should you have?
They are tubeless wheels.
Are they?
After 55 they were tubeless wheels.
Right.
Yeah. I think the early 15-inch wheels were tubed. But after 55 when they went to 14-inch, they are actually tubeless.
So why have you got tubes then? I
put them in there to stop them coming off when I hit things, like curbs and things.
Right.
When I was rallying and that, you know, that was the only reason I put the tubes in them.
I thought I'd read that they should be tubed. Am I wrong there?
But the thing is that tubeless is far better because if the nail good are coming down. Unless there's anything else you want to look under?
No, I'm done there yet.
I'm an engineer in this. It goes up before it comes down. Glad you've got a kit though.
Fairly new, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. When I set up my MOT station in Nuneaton, I got these guys to supply the lot. And people said you're mad because they're, you know, £5,000–6,000 more expensive than everybody else. But I'll tell you one thing: they install it, they make it, and they service it.
Yeah.
And I had a problem with something, and they were out the next day.
Yeah.
They even got some people across from Germany to fix it. There was no messing about. There was none of this. Well, it's not my responsibility. And all that crap. And when I came down here, I phoned them up and I said, look, I'm looking for one. And they said, well, you know, I said, I just want basically a long ramp that'll lift up to 4 ton. And they said, well, you're lucky because we just had a cancellation, complete with jack 10 grand. And, you know, I could go out there and buy a lot cheaper, but it only has to fall on you once. You know, I think that's the thing. So, but yes, it does need, it basically needs full restoration, but I'll never do it.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. But you got all the basics there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I know somebody with a lot of spares.
Well, I mean, the thing is that because I've got so much stuff that I've stripped off cars, it's silly, it's things like nuts and bolts, because I don't know whether you've noticed, but there's a lot of Simca nuts and bolts which are weird threads.
Really?
Yeah.
So what are the different threads used on this thing?
Well, the difference would be we use a lot of 14s, 12s and 14s and 9s.
We're metric. Are we all metric on this?
Yes, all metric, apart from the brake system.
Right.
And, you know, back in the day, nobody used 9s and 12s and 14s.
I've found that, yeah.
So, and also you'll find the thread pitch on a lot of them, whereas everybody else may say have an M, say 10, with a 1mm pitch. Yeah. Simca level, 1.25.
Okay.
And, you know, it's silly things like that.
Yeah.
So I've collected nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
But no, it's weird, really.
Mine was this colour originally.
Was it?
Yeah. I found it under the white paint.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes. I mean, this one I believe has been red all its life, but then ever since I've seen it in '85, it's been red. So.
And do you like driving it left-hand drive? Any issues? No.
No. The only problem sometimes is if you're on a country lane and you're behind, say, a tractor or a horse
Yeah.
box or something, then it's. But, or if you come up, I mean, I had a classic where I came up against an accident in the night. Police had got all their headlights on and everything. I couldn't see whether there was anybody. Everything was just totally blinding. I couldn't see a thing. But normally, no real problems at all.
Right.
I think the most, I suppose, worrying thing I find with this is I'll be on the motorway, so they're doing 60, 65, overtaking a truck with the hood down, and I'm looking out there seeing these wheels and everything. If I have the hood up, I'm safe.
Yeah. Shut your eyes.
That's it. Because, you know, there's no seat belts, no crash helmet.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I took it to the south of France, I mean, it went like a dream, and got there, got back without any problems and everything. And my French is particularly crap, so, you know, turning up in something like this from the UK is, well, you know, it just opens so many doors. And,
Your pedals are different to mine. Mine go the other way. They're oval that way.
oh, that's strange.
Mm.
Well, that's how I think all Simcas are.
Yeah.
All the Arons I've got are anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure mine do.
Yeah.
Unless they've been modified, we don't know, do we?
Well, no.
Because we've run out of space a little bit because they've had to enlarge the tunnel to get this bigger gearbox in, and they've run out of space for the accelerator pedal. So whether they've moved the pedals a bit by welding on new things, or so I've got no rubbers on them.
Right. Oh, right.
They're just base
Because
steel.
on these you've got an inspection cover that comes off, so you know you can actually get to the top of the
Mine was
gearbox.
just all fiberglassed over.
Oh, right.
And of course your dash is different because yours is the later one.
Yeah.
And I've got none of this heater control. Although mine, I think, was over that side, was it?
It could well be, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a vertical one. Yeah.
And these fail, don't they? The window winder mechanism.
Yes.
Which bit fails? Is it the big cog, or the little?
But normally, what I find is the piece that's holding the glass at the bottom.
Right. Okay.
That's what's gone on this one and both. I mean, I've done that side, but on this one, it's the piece that actually there's like a U thing with a rubber in it holds the glass. That's just completely gone.
Right.
So, and I mean the handles, they're Fassel handles.
Yeah.
Which is
Mine are actually in good nick.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which is nice.
Because the Simca ones of the era would have either been in aluminium or in stainless.
Right. Okay.
So, they didn't use much Mazak, Simca didn't. But then, you know, this is stainless, and a lot of these other bits are stainless.
Yeah. These doors are rubbish, aren't they? They're just spot welded together, aren't they?
I mean, well, the bonnet's the same, you know. It's
Is it?
Just,
I haven't got that far yet.
I mean,
But I've never found it. There was just a raw edge here.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you look at the bonnet. I mean, the bonnet. You can see how this one, because it started to separate. You can feel
Oh,
it.
gosh,
You know,
yeah.
That's all it is.
That's terrible, isn't it?
But that's it.
And yet here I've stripped the paint off along here, and I found a lovely welded line all along there.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah, super work, and then shit work there.
The front end and the back end separate to the car, and then they mated them to the car.
Right.
And yeah, I mean this sort of workmanship was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But the odd things like the doors and that were, they were very much a last-minute sort of add-on. And something else you've probably found is that the sills, they bend that way and that way. They've got a double curve in them, and they start off being wide at the front and shallower at the back.
In which way? Where are we talking?
Well, they'd be slightly more that way.
Oh, more roundy, is it?
Rounded,
oh, yeah, I'm with
and
you.
also, you will find almost certainly that there's a slight bend that way as well.
Yes, because there is on the door, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'd worked that out, but mine was all repaired there, so I just made it up.
Yeah.
And I'm missing that trim there, but I think Simca put that, or Fassel put that on just to hide the poor door gap. That's my view.
Very might be, yeah.
It's nice though. It's
It's a very
It could be
sound,
nice,
I mean,
yeah.
You can see it underneath. She's solid underneath and everything.
Well, all the oil dripping everywhere has
Well, that's
protected
right.
it, hasn't it?
So in that case, it could be a British car. I'll go and get the key and I'll show you in the boot.